Do we really know what happened to the apostles? In this video, we're going to cover the biblical historical evidences of the martyrdom of the apostles. We have extensive, reliable historical references with over 100 biblical references and approximately 30 non-biblical references that we'll explore in a future video. The apostles are each specifically mentioned by name in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and Acts, except for Judas Iscariot, who is no longer with them. Collectively, they are referred to as the 12. The 12 are specifically mentioned in 1 Corinthians 15, 3-7, that he was raised on the third day in accordance with the Scripture, and that he appeared to Cephas and to the 12. Then he appeared to more than 500 brothers. There are a number of biblical prophecies of persecution and martyrdom mentioned, like Matthew 10, 16-18. The apostles themselves never sought personal recognition. Because of this, it's not surprising that we don't see individual martyrdom references to all of the apostles. Some of the apostles are mentioned by name, like Peter, Paul, James, and John. Next, we're going to look at some specific verses that mention the martyrdom of these apostles. Jesus prophesies about the martyrdom of Peter in John 21, 18-19, letting him know what kind of death Peter was to glorify God with. In 2 Peter, Peter himself specifically mentions his martyrdom while in Rome, giving us not only a time frame but also a specific location with regard to his martyrdom. Paul mentions persecution multiple times in Acts 9, 23-25, as well as Acts 16, 22-24. Paul's martyrdom again is mentioned in 2 Timothy, "For I am already being poured out as a drink offering, and the time for my departure has come." Jesus again prophesies the martyrdom of James and John, the sons of Zebedee, in Mark 10, saying, "You will drink the cup I drink, and you will be baptized in the baptism I experience," referring to their martyrdom. In the book of Acts, we see a very blatant mention of James, the brother of John, being killed by Herod, confirming the prophecy that Jesus spoke of earlier. Yet another later reference to the martyrdom of James is found in James 5:6. Here we see in John Jesus prophesying the martyrdom of Philip and Andrew. The large number of biblical references do agree, from the Gospels to the book of Acts and beyond, that the apostles were in fact martyred for their belief in the resurrected Jesus. Many modern scholars agree, including critical scholar Bart Ehrman, who states it's clear that Peter is being told that he will be executed. Ehrman continues, "By the end of the first century and into the second, it is widely known among Christians that Peter had suffered a martyr's death." The author of the book, The Fate of the Apostles, Dr. Sean McDowell, states, "The apostles were all willing to suffer and die because they believed Jesus had risen from the grave." In answer to the question, do we really know what happened to the apostles? According to the biblical texts, and based on the agreement of scholars, the answer is yes. The apostles were martyred for their belief in Jesus. If you enjoyed this video on the fate of the apostles, be sure to watch our next video on the historical, non-biblical evidences of the martyrdom of the apostles.